Welcome everybody to the United Pro Wrestling Podcast. We're here with episode 2 with the one true virtuoso Rembrandt, formerly Ricky Rembrandt, but we're on first name basis, I feel like. Ricky, thanks for joining me here. We are, of course, at the United Pro Wrestling headquarters, our training facility here in Morayfield, and thanks for joining me tonight.
How could I refuse as soon as you asked me? I was like, hey, we haven't caught up in years because he's a loser. No, he's good. But yeah, it's good to be here, man.
Yep, awesome. So I guess with the way we started it with Tommy, the way we'll start it with you is, where does this journey begin for Rembrandt the wrestler?
How much time do you have?
I know the answer, but let's give it a short essay.
Okay, so it all started many years ago. No, it was the end of 2011, and that's when I met you. And we started in a small little company called QCW, and yeah, I've been going ever since. That's about 12 years now.
12 years. I don't think I'm going out on a limb here to say that you're probably the most traveled wrestler, at least time-wise, at UPW here. I mean, you do have your accolades here as well. 12 years, what's led you to this point in UPW? And are you happy? Are you content? Is there more? Like, are we going for another 12?
I don't plan things, man. Like, to be honest, I look at the commentary table, and I know you've sat there a couple of times too. And I look at that, and it looks really comfortable some days.
It's comfortable, but you sort of want to jump the table sometimes as well and get in there. And I've been medically disqualified for quite a few years now, but I don't think you're ready to get behind the commentary desk just yet.
If I didn't feel like I could still go and I could still hang with the young talent, and if I didn't feel like I could hang, I would sit out.
Yeah.
But while I can, I'm going to keep wrestling.
Now, United Pro Wrestling, we're 5, 6, 7 years we're into this. You've already been a 2-time heavyweight champion. Let's talk about a couple of those highlights within UPW. Obviously, those two have got to be up there.
Yeah.
Talk us through your time at UPW.
So I was one of the first people called to join the roster when the company came to the Sunshine Coast, which I thought was pretty cool. I'd been out of wrestling for about 8 months at that point, and it was time to get back to it. So yeah, came back, and just every match I try to do better than my last match. And if I just keep that mindset going, I don't see an end in sight. So I did pretty well. Like I hung for a while. Some of the guys are pretty big, so I'm one of the smaller guys.
But you've knocked off some pretty hefty names there. Like your first UPW championship, I know there's been 2 reigns.
Yeah.
You knocked off none other than Muhammad Ali Vaez.
Yeah.
That is a name to knock off. That is a name to put on the resume.
Yeah, it's pretty high up there. So a theme with me is that usually I win titles in unadvertised matches.
Right.
Yeah. So
you're an in-the-moment kind of guy.
I don't know. Call me an opportunist or lucky. I don't know. But yeah, I came out at the end of one of our events, and Ali had previously said that he would take on anyone, anytime. So I called him out on that, and I managed to take the title away from him. So that was a huge highlight. There's still a photo from that moment that is, I've got quite a few printouts still if you want to buy them, but I've got them up in my house, and I see it all the time. And it's just one of those moments I think that I'll never forget.
100%. Yeah, knocking off a guy like Ali with the amount of experience and the world traveling that he's done and the opportunity for UPW to bring in someone like that, and for you to take that opportunity is, it's a testament to what you've done, which I feel like you've always been, like you said, somewhat of an opportunist. You like to sneak your way in there. You like to, if you see an opening, you'll kick that door in. You'll make that opening whatever you need it to be.
I mentioned that I'm not the biggest guy, and this is all before a featherweight division and all of that stuff.
True. Yeah, we didn't even have a featherweight division back then.
Exactly. So, and I'm going to wrestle anyone, anytime. And it doesn't matter how big, how small, how strong, how fast. It doesn't matter. But yeah, beating Ali is huge. And it was like, to winning the title is great anytime, but I took it as a badge of honor because well-traveled, well-experienced beyond anyone that I've ever wrestled before. So to have that happen, just a standout moment.
Yeah.
Definitely. But Ali coming to UPW just opened up everything for us.
Yeah,
Like everyone
100%.
got better. Everyone got better.
Yeah, he's one of the ones where you sit under that learning tree, for sure. And if you're willing to soak it in, it's going to make you better.
Sometimes you're copping the punches and you're learning as it's happening. So,
I'm learning.
On the job training.
Yeah, 100%. You've also had a second heavyweight title reign. I believe you took that one off EC Diamond.
Yes, that one was more special, believe it or not.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, not to beat a dead horse, but in 2018, I was diagnosed with cancer.
Right.
And I had to go away for a while, deal with that problem. Kicked out of that. And then I think it was second or third match back after that.
Wow.
I happened to be given, literally,
The door was cracked open and...
it was, hey, do you want to wrestle the champion? And I was like, no.
No.
I'm not ready for that. But how do you say no?
No, you can't.
And EC Diamond at the time was hot commodity.
Yeah.
Uber talented, young, the sky's the limit kind of guy. And
couldn't have had the crowd behind him anymore at that time.
No.
Absolute fan favorite.
So it was a shock.
Yeah.
Not just to me, but to everybody else, to take the title from him. And I only held it for a month because the competition was that stiff.
Yeah.
And I wasn't back physically to a point where I could hang.
Yeah.
Obviously, like the proof is in the pudding. But yeah, I lost it a month later. But even just to achieve that, beat cancer, come back, win the title back, it doesn't really get much better than that. You know,
it doesn't get much better than that. But then we opened up a whole new division here at United Pro Wrestling. We opened up a featherweight division
for us little fellas.
Well, not for the
Small,
fast-paced, high-octane featherweight action that we've come to know from all the greats all over the world. During that featherweight title being introduced to UPW, you've fought for that one as well a few times. Several times. You haven't been able to capture that one.
I was going to admit that little piece of knowledge, but it's that level of competition.
Yeah,
right.
We've never had more people in that under. Is it 75 or 80 kilos at this point?
Well, I've never broken 80 kilos, so I'm going to say 80.
I think it's 80 kilos as well. I mean, I should know that, but I'm pretty sure it's under 80 kilos. And
I don't worry about it because I don't get there. I don't touch 80 kilos. So.
I touch it every day. But yeah, we do have that featherweight division, and it is more stacked than ever. And I just want to touch on, you've done this for longer than pretty much. I'm pretty sure it's everyone on the current roster. And then you've got a guy like, you've got Bones. He's so new to this, and he's just captured that title. Like, are you excited to see the fresh faces and, more opportunities with titles like the featherweight division?
The featherweight division, for me, is the workhorse division. So, and that's not taking anything away from anyone else. It's just that the style of matches that happen when you put the smaller guys together, the quicker guys, the more technical, I wouldn't say reliant, but we have to focus on technique, right? And high flying moves to get the job done, especially against the bigger people, but even more importantly against each other.
Yeah.
So the featherweight division is the workhorse division. And I was in the first match for when the inception of the title. It was meant to be a one-on-one match, and I remember storming out when I found out it was going to be a multi-man situation. I think there's 6 or 7 of us. I can't remember. But from the very first moment that title has come out, I've been chasing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not ashamed to say, because I probably lost more than I've won, to be honest. But losing is adversity, and when you can work through your adversity, winning is that much sweeter. So despite not winning the title yet, I'm never going to take a backward step, and I'm always going to press forward. So,
and I feel like you've been known as the guy that will get knocked down 100 times and get back up 100 times. You said you got diagnosed with cancer. You didn't let that keep you down. You came back and you won the heavyweight title, 3 short matches back. you said you've had multiple opportunities at featherweight. You've had multiple opportunities at the heavyweight as well, and like you don't win every one of them. But Rembrandt is known as the guy that will get knocked down 100 times, and he will get back up 100 out of 100 times, without a doubt. And after 12 years, that's impressive to not lose that step, to not lose that. It seems like your drive is still there, your fire is still there. I mean, I feel like even the way even now when you're coming out to the ring and some of the things that you're saying, you know, there's fire, there's something behind those words still that doesn't always come across to the fans as, you know, the most endearing thing sometimes, but whether they're booing you or cheering you, like, I feel like Rembrandt's only, you know, the first half of his career at this point is, like, do you feel that way? Is that, and is the featherweight something that you're looking to grandfather that division and, you know, be the learning tree of that division, or do you want to go for that division, or are you looking towards the heavyweight? What's I guess what I'm asking is what's the plan going forward for Rembrandt?
Many questions.
Yeah.
But
I know the second episode. I'm still getting used to this.
It's cool.
I don't have a format. We're just shooting.
We're just spitballing. But many questions, but they can all be answered generically and together, because the featherweight division right now is my goal.
Okay.
I don't have any aspirations outside of that. That's not to say that if an opportunity came up, I wouldn't take it.
Exactly. And you would probably capitalize on it.
I would try.
Yeah.
I'd try. You said, you know, I'm 12 years deep in the wrestling business. I'm 36 years of age this year.
Whew.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. did I say that out loud?
Hey, speaking in my good ear. But like in wrestling terms, I'm not saying I'm old or I'm over the hill or anything, but I'm getting there, especially when new talent's always coming in.
That's what I say when I mention someone like a Bones or like a Draven that's so fresh into this. Do you feel like, oh, you know, I'll have matches with these guys. I'll give them a good go, or are you still Rembrandt of old? Are you looking to take their heads off still?
When I step in the ring, I don't feel any different to what I did 12 years ago.
So you're still rolling out of the ring to vomit every now and then, or is that? No, we've moved past that phase of your career.
I'm better now.
You're better. got those adrenaline nerves vomiting match out of your system.
A phase,
okay.
Right?
Yeah. Sorry to sidestep there.
But no, like I do feel like I can keep up with these guys. And if, like I said, if I didn't, I would step out.
Okay.
I want to continually improve. I want to give my best match. I want to give my best performance for me, for my opponent, for the fans, for my promoter. Everything. It's just It's been a journey, right?
It
So 12 years.
It has been a journey.
You've been there for a lot of it, and you've seen a lot of it, and you've experienced a lot of it. It's ups and downs. If you can't handle the valleys, you don't get to enjoy the peaks.
Exactly.
So
that's that wisdom. That's that old man wisdom.
Write that down. It's true though, and if
we don't write, we type it out now.
What is this tweeting thing that people are? But it's peaks and valleys, and if you can't roll with that and you can't adapt, then you're going to get swallowed up.
Yep.
Especially in the featherweight division. You mentioned Draven.
So young.
And like cagey and wise beyond his years in the ring.
Especially with that group behind him that we've spoken, like those guys make moves that I've seen, you know, many other groups try to pull off and not succeed 9 times out of 10.
I look at that group and I think Draven doesn't need them.
Okay.
That's just my opinion, because I think he's that talented.
He is.
And, you know, I'm not the kind of person that's not going to say that just because he's a bit of a douche. Can I say that?
You can say that.
I said it. It's the truth. He's that good. I've only just managed to beat Draven at Over the Top for the first time.
That was the first time.
And I've had a few cracks at it while he was the champion as well. So he's that good. Bones is a different animal. Where do I start about Bones?
I feel like he's so unknown because he's so... I mean, he's proven in the fact that he is the featherweight champion, but he's unproven in the fact that he's... How many months in is he at this point? He's less than 12 months into this business, and he's already doing an incredible job as our featherweight champion. And I don't know if is that someone that are you looking at someone like Bones now? I mean, you just said you're on a roll at Over the Top. Our last event, we had a huge 30-man Over the Top Rumble.
Didn't win it.
13 won that one, but you did in a singles match beat the former featherweight champion Draven, and he is, like we said, no walk in the park.
Yeah.
Are you feeling momentum? Like, are you
definitely? So, actually, it's probably a good time to talk about this because I've wanted to say it to Bones personally, and I know he'll see this. So, when Bones won the featherweight title in Mansfield against Draven, that, even though I wasn't in the match, is one of the best and most beloved highlights of my wrestling career. And that's weird to say considering I wasn't wrestling.
I get it. I was in the nest controlling lights and
I was in VIP section.
The place came unglued.
It was amazing. And it wasn't just that reaction. The emotion in the room was palpable.
Yeah.
You could feel it. And like he tore the shirt off and he throws it. And just the story leading up to that and him overcoming his adversity and everything, people coming unglued. I'm not joking. There were people crying in the crowd. There was huge, high emotions running backstage. There wasn't like, everyone felt what was going on in that moment. And I go on about this because I felt it too. I was out there, I was in the middle of it with my family, and I was blown away, absolutely blown away. And that to me is what wrestling's about. You can talk about wins and losses and championships and in-ring prowess and all of the little factors and all the things that make up our form of entertainment, but it's driven on emotion and connection, right?
And moments.
And moments.
Like that.
Moments and all of those things, emotion, connection, moments, culminated in that specific time. Whether it was by design or like divine intervention, I don't know, but it was a heck of a moment. And I will never forget it. So in that 12 years that I've been wrestling, I've lost passion. I've been frustrated with the industry, frustrated with the audience. Even more recently, I've had a run of just bad attitude and just a love and a loathe kind of relationship with wrestling. Wrestling Bones in the lead up to that moment, because I wrestled Bones first, and then I wrestled Bones and Draven in an attempt to win the featherweight title. And then Bones ended up going on and doing what I felt like I should have done. But seeing it firsthand, it just brought my passion back.
Okay.
Like more than I ever would have thought I could have. Not saying I was just coasting or whatever, but I didn't have that fire.
Sometimes you need that.
It's a reminder.
Like you need that. It's great to reach for the top, but to see the specific thing at the top and that moment, like you said, with Bones winning the featherweight championship,
the bar was
and feeling like that should have been you. That's
yeah.
Is that something that drives you going forward now? Is that your fire at the moment?
That's what I was going to say. After seeing that and feeling that, and feeling that passion come back, and just going, man, like this is wrestling. And it's what I love about wrestling. Forget all of the other crap. That is what it's all about. So I saw that and I lived that. And since then, I've trained harder. I've studied more. I've just had more interest in the business than I ever have. More passion for our company. More tolerance for our audience. No, I don't.
Those old man grumps can still come back.
Oh, look, that's always going to be there. That's a part of me. And sometimes the crowd's on me with the boos, sometimes they're on me with the cheers. But I have fallen in love with professional wrestling again. And I have no one else to attribute that to but our featherweight champion, Bones. It's a hell of a thing.
I feel like there's something being left unsaid, perhaps,
Yeah, I was going to do this face-to-face with him at the first opportunity I could. Unfortunately, I haven't had that. But It's glory season.
It is. We've just had
yeah.
our road to glory.
And it's a good time of year. It's
We've
always
just had our over-the-top rumble where we got our number one contender for the heavyweight championship.
Love it.
I haven't seen Rembrandt on the socials.
Yeah, I've got a plan. And I only have a plan because I also see that Bones doesn't have a plan yet. And this is it. This is the moment, right? I would like Bones to listen very closely to what I just said about him and consider that we go one-on-one at Glory, Undisputed Glory, on July 1st for the featherweight title. I haven't won the title yet, and I've had many cracks at it, and there may be other people who deserve it more, I don't know. And I'm going to pitch it to him this way. The featherweight division is something that I am extremely proud of right now. In the last 6 months for this year, even leading up to that, we have started having the best matches on the card. And we've had main event matches on the card. There is more hype and more excitement around that title. And I'm sorry to say this, Tommy, than the heavyweight title. In some instances, I feel like that's the case.
I'm sure Tommy will take that on board.
I don't care. He's always got something to say. But it's just those matches and those personalities and the passion behind it. That's the word of the interview. The passion behind the featherweight division right now is my driving motivation and my driving force. And I would love to be at the top of that mountain and lead that charge forward. I feel like we have a great champion in Bones already, but I feel like I can also contribute in the same way. And I feel like we can really tear the house down at Undisputed Glory.
I don't want to cut you off. I know this feels like a heartfelt please please give me a match, Bones.
I don't have long left. It's not a plea. It's a request. Consider my challenge. Turn it down if you like.
GM, right? I mean, he could make it without either of your considerations.
He could. But the thing is, I want Bones to be 100% on board. And I want him to know that the reason behind the challenge isn't because I have bad blood with him or he slapped my sister in the face or any of that weird wrestling stuff. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that animosity and that bad blood storyline driving behind it. Wrestling is the name of the game. You know, I dress with chains and studs and band patches, and I look like I would sooner punch someone in the face and put him in an Indian deathlock. But I love professional wrestling, and I love wrestling on the mat, and I love the competition of professional wrestling. And that's what I want Bones to accept and step up and have this match with me. I want it based on competition.
Okay. I mean, can we get let's this business is driven on social media. Can we get the clip? Ricky Rembrandt on July 1st at Undisputed Glory. We so far don't have a featherweight title match.
Make it happen.
Are you throwing down the gauntlet to have a one-on-one featherweight championship match with our featherweight champion Bones?
137%.
That's a specific number.
More than 100. Yes, absolutely. Make it happen. I am challenging Bones, our featherweight champion, to a featherweight championship match on July 1st at the Shed at Aussie World for Undisputed Glory 6. Ball's in your court.
Ball, I mean, I can't wait to hear his response. I hope we can hear from Bones, in a fairly quick manner. I don't know what else is left to say. I mean, we do have our biggest show of the year, Undisputed Glory, coming up. Rembrandt has just thrown down the gauntlet. He has challenged Bones.
Creating opportunity for myself.
And kicking that door in. Could we see a brand new featherweight champion at Undisputed Glory 6, July 1st? Get all your tickets, unitedprowrestling.com.au. Ricky, I think this has gone on about 5 times longer than intended, but It's been fantastic to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining me on the second episode here. Again, United Pro Wrestling on all the social medias, unitedprowrestling.com.au for all your future tickets, events, and information. And I hope to see you all at United Pro Wrestling's Undisputed Glory on July 1st at the Banana Bender Pub on the Sunshine Coast on July 1st. Thanks once again, Ricky, and we'll see you next time.
He's pretty good at this. You should do more of these.